Good afternoon, everybody. Oh, Today we have a really cool live with a really special guy named Eben Britton of the Ebb and Flow podcast and the Heal and Flow events. And glad to be back with everybody. It's been a long time since I've done a live, probably like a month or two, and that's because I've been traveling around the world. I went to Italy and Egypt. I studied astrogeomancy in Ecuador. I've grew my hair out a little bit. But I had an opportunity to get Eben on here and talk about some interesting new stuff that's come up. So let me see if he's joined. Ed's Britton. Ed's Britton. And here you are.
Dude,
Right.
what's
Dude,
what's up, brother?
what's up, dude? How we doing?
I'm excellent, man. How are you?
I'm fantastic. I'm finally home. It's been this whirlwind traveling and study and educational tour it's been going on for months.
You live an exciting life, bro.
I do. Now it's nice to be home though,
Y-
really.
Yeah, I feel that big time, man.
Yeah, we had so much that we did and so much we accomplished and so much we learned. And I'll admit I didn't have enough time to integrate all of it.
Mm.
So coming back and kind of looking back and what I've done, I have a stack of books that I've been buying as I got recommended on the road. And so now I've got this big stack waiting for me at home. And yeah, just taking a deep breath, man. Did a little sauna. It's been a while since I used the product. Consistently had the glow on the road, but it's been so nice to just be back and do those eternal practices. That keep us
Yeah.
really well.
Yeah, dude. I was just talking to my buddy about it's been a theme of this week for me as well, how crucial the daily practice of all these elements, these things that we do to keep ourselves balanced and our nervous system, really the things that we do to to balance our nervous system, how crucial it is for me in my life, and practicing it daily is really the magic ingredient in changing yourself from the inside out. We all
Mm-hmm.
want to just meditate once or get in the sauna one time and our life has changed. Like you meditate once and you're Buddha. It's just we wish it was like that. It's just not like that. But if you commit yourself to meditating daily, eating good foods daily, breathing well daily, getting in the sauna daily, whatever the thing is for you that brings stillness and peace into your nervous system, like if you commit yourselves to those disciplines daily, not only will you absolutely change the fabric of your being, your operating system, but you will also keep yourself balanced through the fire, through
Mm-hmm.
the chaos, through life's ups and downs, through the tides of it all, And I'm feeling really grateful for that right now because, like, I feel like in the last 2 weeks, I've started to emerge from a really heavy period, going through a
Mm-hmm.
lot of life stuff. And it's interestingly, maybe it's totally obvious, and maybe it's part of my thing as a man where I felt like I had to just charge through and keep going and not feel stuff and get everything done and be successful and do all of that. But really came to terms with, man, I've been feeling the weight of a lot of big life things that have happened, going through a divorce, and like putting myself back together and all of these things that have happened over the last few years, building a business and being a dad and, you know, family stuff and feeling it all and just coming to a place where I can go, I'm really proud of myself because I was able to just put one foot in front of the other thanks to all of these practices, thanks to my spiritual disciplines and having some grace for myself for that, having gone through all that life, you know. Anyway,
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah, that's a beautiful way to start out. We do get lost. We get caught up in things sometimes, but when we return to those practices, we make big shifts one step at a time, and it keeps us resilient. When we have these intense days and the intense moments. I appreciate your vulnerability, brother, on
yeah,
all that.
brother.
It's beautiful.
Thank you, man.
Those we all have those moments, and it's important to remind yourself, it's okay to feel those things. Those things come up, and yet these daily wellness practices that we do, they help carry you through it, and you're better on the
Yeah,
other side. So let's back up though. We
yeah,
got
yeah.
started real fast here. I want to make sure that everybody knows everything about you. So if you could just introduce yourself. Um, I actually did a recording with Eben
Oh,
on
yeah.
his podcast, and that's coming out soon. So we're not going to like talk about too much of the stuff we talked about on the podcast because we talked about some really cool stuff. So we'll leave that as a cliffhanger for you guys. But Evan, if you could take a moment, introduce yourself. What are you all about?
Yeah, guys. Thanks, dude. I'm psyched to be here with you. Um, my name's Eben Britton. I played 6 years in the NFL as an offensive lineman. Left my football career totally dismantled, mentally, emotionally, physically. Had to go on this long, slow journey of putting myself back together again. Found myself in men's groups, 12-step program, plant medicine, meditation, yoga. Uh, I, I had the blessing of being raised by two holistically minded parents, so I had somewhat of a blueprint for bringing myself back to balance coming out of that life in football and all that chaos. And when I say chaos, I mean essentially I'm talking about living my life in adrenaline and cortisol and just
Mm-hmm.
maxed out constantly in my nervous system. And when you do that day in, day out for over a decade, it wires the system in a certain way. And I needed desperately to slow it down and bring peace to myself. So I found all of these things by the grace of God, really, like I said, community men's groups, 12-step programs, made my way to therapy and plant medicine and meditation and yoga. Um, I host my own podcast, The Ebb and Flow, which you've been on.
Mm-hmm.
We have an epic episode that people can actually check out now on YouTube. You can head over there. It's an absolutely epic episode. Um, and, and that's just recently come out. And I teach events. I teach yoga at events. Um, our event is called Heal and Flow. Next one's coming up August 10 and 11 in Lake Stevens, Washington. And then I do some coaching, but really I'm here to share my experience, strength, and hope with you all in whatever means is available. And excited to do it here today, man.
Wow, beautiful. So I thought we could start out with you sharing some of the stuff that you do right now.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Let's
Uh,
do that.
um,
Brian.
yeah, so I've got it marked on. Oh yeah, real quick. So we're gonna do a collab post. So I better introduce myself too. I'm the founder of Sauna Space. Um, I started the company after I had a healing sort of journey that I went on where I was pretty toxic, had a lot of adrenal fatigue and other symptoms like insomnia and acne and other things. And my mom, who's a practitioner, a physician, She said, Brian, you probably just need to sauna because you need to detox. So my story is I found Dr. Kellogg's concept, the electric light bath, which is the world's first electric sauna, invented in like the late 1800s, so the late 19th century. And I read his book called Light Therapeutics. It was published 120 years ago, and found this modern rendition of the concept. So I built my own because I'm a tinkerer, and I had this amazing healing recovery. So my insomnia went away really quickly, and then through 6 months of use, all my other sort of issues went away. And long story short, I was really blown away by how easy it was to just be in this sauna, not really do anything, and have all these magical like internal things unlocking and activating healing wise. And we talked about it a little bit in the podcast. There's definitely a metaphysical aspect to our sauna, to the FireLight Sauna, and I improved mentally and cognitively as well. And I decided to drop my tools and I was trying to build a rental real estate empire, and I wasn't doing a very good job of it. So I just said the heck with that and dropped my tools, started Sauna Space, got a business loan, ended up almost going bankrupt a few times, a few business loans later. 10 years later, I've got this really cool brand and company, and it's a product line of incandescent light saunas. We call the FireLight Saunas, and it's all handmade in Missouri.
The best.
And right now, it's really interesting. Actually, we have this major rebrand going on that the whole world's going to be able to enjoy in September, where we're renaming some products, but we've been working on this new messaging, this new visual look and feel that, wow, I feel like I've been working on it forever. It's probably been over a year, but we just got out of doing 3 days of video and photo shoots in Dallas, and so I'm super pumped with all of that. So that's all upcoming too. So everybody can look out for just this amazing new look and feel of the company coming out actually pretty soon. Uh, um,
Love
so
that,
so
bro.
so yeah, that's me. I'm Sauna Space. Here we are on our. I've got my own Instagram too. I am the Love Light, and you can find us also on YouTube, and our website sauna.space. So with all that aside, I'd like to start out with a contribution from you, Ed, with one of the things. I know you do a lot of breath work. I was privileged to be a part of a, what do you call it, like a
Yeah,
mind share,
yeah.
this group you did. What was the name of the group?
The
The
Wild King, my men's
Wild
workshop.
Crane, yeah. So we met every week for about a month and a half, 2 months. And one of the things I loved about it is how you set the tone for the meeting, for our shares and our getting together with a breathwork session.
Yeah.
So I
Oh
was
yeah.
hoping, we don't have a whole lot of time, but I'd love to do like a 1 to 4 minute guided breathwork session, so
Yeah.
everybody can have a taste of what you do, and we could also set the intention for the rest of our life.
Love that, brother. Yeah, dude, I appreciate you saying that. Feedback is always good as a teacher because I never really know. I mean, I practice this stuff every day and all the time, but as a teacher, you never really know what the student's experience is, or what the practitioner's experience is. So I love that you tuned into the the good. I don't know how I want to say this, but you tuned into how helpful it was to do breath work before we got into the sharing and the
Oh
coursework.
yeah, man. And
You know,
and our meetings were always late, so I already had a bunch,
yeah, you got a whole day
shitstorm of
behind
things,
you.
and
Yeah,
it very quickly brought me out of my mind, grounded me, and made me ultra present for everything we're doing. So
good,
I've actually been doing that more and more since then. So I appreciate that.
sweet
Absolutely.
man. All
So
right,
yeah.
yeah. So let's do it. All right, everybody who's here and everybody watching, uh, just feel your feet. If you're sitting in a chair, feel your feet flat on the ground. This might be challenging if you're driving or on a walk, but just do your best. So we're going to do a little thing called Tumo. We're going to do 20 breaths, just one set, nice and easy. It's going to be maybe 2 minutes. But sit up nice and tall, spine straight. Feel your feet flat on the ground. Hands relaxed right there on your knees. Just keep your chest lifted, belly relaxed. So what we're going to do is 20 breaths. We're going to go in the nose. Well, on that inhale, I want you to think about breathing into your solar plexus, this area right here. If you can see my hand, this area right below your sternum. That's your solar plexus. Think about taking your inhale right into that center point. Expand your lungs, big chest. We're going to get the diaphragm involved. So the diaphragm is this thin sheet of muscle that separates the lungs and the heart from all of the digestive organs. When we get traumatized in our life, talking about a frazzled nervous system, the diaphragm can literally spasm and get locked upwards, which inhibits a full breath in your lungs. It inhibits you from breathing down into your lower lungs. Your lungs have 3 lobes, the lower, middle, and upper. The lower lungs are actually directly linked through your 10th cranial nerve to the amygdala, the reptilian brain, the center of fight, flight, freeze, fix. So if you're never able to breathe into your lower lungs and that's always inhibited through a spasm diaphragm, chances are you're walking around breathing really shallow and just hitting the panic button. So you're in that constant state of fight or flight. Your amygdala is really turned on. Okay, so think about this. Inhale, big chest in your solar plexus. Exhale. Think about emptying your lungs round your spine. Use your abs to press the air out to empty your lungs completely on your exhale. We're going to go 20 breaths in and out just like that. On the 20th breath, you're going to blow it all out. You're going to hold it out. We're going to hold on empty for a long count. I'll give you the cue. All sorts of stuff can come up. Just relax. Just settle into the emptiness. Let the weight of your body just get heavy through the center of your seat. We're going to hold on empty. You can swallow. Then you're going to take a deep breath in. On my cue, fill your lungs through your nose from the bottom all the way up to the top. Fill your lungs. Hold it at the top. We're going to hold that for a long count. We're going to let that go. And that'll be our one set. I'll bring you down a little bit from there, and we'll do a little 1 minute of meditation, a little quiet, just to settle in before we jump into this lovely conversation we're about to have on light. All right, so here we go. Spine straight, chest up, feet flat on the ground. Take a deep breath in. Let it all go. Then begin. In your nose, out your mouth. Two more. Last one. Empty. Empty it all out of your mouth. Squeeze it out. Hold it out. Swallow if you need to. Let your body get heavy. Let the tension fall down into the center of your seat. Let your shoulders relax. Let your hands relax. Let your belly relax. Just sink. Keep holding. Bring your awareness to the space around your body. Keep holding. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Take a deep breath in. Fill your lungs from the bottom all the way up to the top. When you get to the top, sip it at the top and hold it. Hold it in. And let everything go. Let everything go. Let all the tension go out of your body with your exhale. When you get to the bottom, just breathe normal in your nose and out your nose. Nice and light. You can close your eyes if they're not already closed. Just breathe normal. Nice and easy and light in your nose and out your nose. Every inhale, think about creating space in your body. Every exhale, just let something go, get softer. Let your face relax. Let your hands relax. Let your belly relax. Call to mind the vision of yourself in your highest form. Vision of yourself totally realized. Everything you've ever dreamed of, it's here now. You've accomplished it. You've achieved it. All the success you've ever wanted, it's here now. Surrounded by love. Filled with peace and ease and freedom. Living in the home of your dreams, surrounded by people who love you, who you love. Let this feeling fill every cell of your being. Let this vibration saturate you from the inside out. All the nooks and crevices, crannies. Just feel this light building inside of you. Take a deep breath in. Fill your lungs all the way up to the top and hold it. And let it all go. Let everything you no longer need, let it all go out the exhale. Take another deep breath in. Fill it all the way up to the top. Hold it. And let everything go. Take one more deep breath in, just like that. Fill it all the way up. Hold it. And let it all go. Let everything go and just settle down right here and now. Breathe normal in your nose and out your nose. When you're ready, you can open your eyes.
Wow. Yeah. That is such a reset.
That was good.
Thanks. Yeah, when we did it with the Wild King, did that we did that cycle like 3 or 4 times. It was really interesting doing it the third. Like the first time I did it, it was hard for me to hold my breath after the exhale, to like not taking a breath.
Yeah.
But then, by the second or third time, I felt like I could stay a lot longer than, even when you called us out of it. It's very interesting how.
Yeah, I know. It's a really interesting thing.
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, I would love to talk more about breath work. We could talk, I'm sure, a long time on
Yeah, we'll
it.
do another live on that.
Yeah, somebody asked before about book recommendations. I just thought right now I would say James Nestor's Breath is a
Yeah,
great
big,
recommendation. And then
such a good,
I'm going to ask
good
you,
one.
I'm going to give one and I'm going to ask you one. So right now, my book I'm reading that's the most interesting to me is by this Russian author named Zeland, and it's called Reality Transurfing.
Mm.
And he's Russian, so it's a verbose read.
Uh-huh.
But for all y'all out there who are familiar with Hermetic law, this is a gigantic, deep, profound exploration of all aspects of the law of polarity
Mm.
and the law of manifestation.
Oh, that's
It's
cool.
So check it out. It's called Reality Transurfing. It's super trippy. Did you have a recommendation of what you're reading right now that you could give?
Yeah, dude. Well, it's funny you say that. I know you've been deep in the Hermetic principles and the Hermetic alchemy teachings for a while now. I'm rereading the Kybalion with my group coaching calls.
Amazing.
Yeah, which has been totally transformative. I think it's part of my coming back. Coming back to life in the last couple of weeks is like
Coming back to that book because
yeah,
you've read it
coming back.
before.
Yeah. It's like my third or fourth time going through, and it's been like a year or two since I've looked at it. And coming back to it has been really inspiring. And then I'm also rereading Letting Go, The Pathway of Surrender by David Hawkins, which is another for me like fundamental reading. Just such a powerful book. David Hawkins changed my life with the book Power versus Force and the
Mm,
map of consciousness,
mm,
and really brought me in a really dark time, aka the COVID era, brought me back into the light and into a lot of hope for the world. And Power versus Force, Letting Go, two books by David Hawkins that for me have been absolutely life changing.
wow, thank you. Yeah,
Yeah,
we'll put those in the post notes.
love that.
Yeah, so it looks like we got about half an hour left.
Okay,
Um,
dude.
so we're good.
Well,
We got to
we've
keep
got
on to that.
yeah, we've got some good stuff to talk about here, dude.
Yeah, so
So
let's get into it.
yeah, so let's dive in here. I mean, first of all, I think it's a really great thing if you inform everybody like what sets sauna space apart, dude. What's the deal with the FireLight technology? Uh, Anybody who's ever gotten into a sauna space sauna, we're blessed at our place. We've got the super sauna with the Faraday lining, which is just as you'll see in the podcast, but it's an absolutely spiritual experience for me every time I get in there. So anyone who's ever done it knows the difference, between getting in there and your typical LED light sauna. But why don't we start with that? Like, what sets the technology apart? Why is it so special? What do you guys do?
Yeah, it's such an important question. Sometimes I forget to to talk about it and break it down. It's what we do at Sauna Space is what we call the Firelight spectrum. The Firelight spectrum is the spectrum of the sun without ultraviolet light and without blue light.
Hmm.
So the spectrum of the sun, many people know it's referred to as a full spectrum light source. What that means, though, essentially, is that you get the full complement of all of these wavelengths in a power distribution that is what we call natural light. The only light in nature that we find is the sun or also fire that we can make ourselves. Both of these are incandescent light sources. And the incandescent light bulb that we use at Sauna Space mimics that. It's producing light in the same way through incandescence. But like, what is the light of nature and what is the firelight? So the firelight spectrum is a combination of a little bit of red and a lot of near infrared,
Hmm.
which I'll break down in a second. Near infrared is perhaps the most important part of the sun spectrum. And then there's also a fair amount of mid infrared and also far infrared. So it's all of these wavelengths. It's some people call sauna space a near infrared sauna because of the technology being different than everybody else. But it's not just near, it's red, near, mid, and far. So there's actually a substantial amount of far infrared as well. But the idea is that we're beings of light. The number one nutrient, the number one stimulus in our natural environment is the sun. And we know nowadays that we're not just getting energy from the sun like secondarily by eating plants and animals that get energy from the sun. We actually get energy from the sun directly. And in science, we call this photobiomodulation. It's more commonly known as red light therapy.
Hmm.
And so we get energy from the sun, but red light therapy does a lot of other things like healing damaged cells and optimizing function of healthy cells. It happens in every cell of the body. It goes through the mitochondria, which is in every cell of the body. It's our energy centers. And anyway, to what we do at Sauna Space and the difference of it, it's that we're mimicking the experience we get with nature's light, but we're doing it without ultraviolet light and blue light, which are high energy wavelengths that are really killer wavelengths. They're damaging to the body, but we're giving the body the full complement of light in its natural form, but without those. So it's kind of like uh, when you talk about full spectrum, you hear about that you use that phrase in supplements too. You have full spectrum supplements, and you have like isolated supplements. And it's the same thing with light. We're designed to get the light of nature, which is all the wavelengths as I'm describing. We're not as ideally designed to get like one wavelength. But with modern light therapy, most of the light therapy out there that we call red light therapy is LED based. And that's where they're taking one wavelength and they're giving you a lot of it. Or they may give you one near infrared wavelength, they're giving you a lot of it. With Sauna Space, we're saying, yeah, we're gonna do red, we're gonna do near infrared, but we're gonna do it in this natural proportion of wavelengths like we get from the sun. And the sun is about 70% of the power we absorb from the sun is near infrared. And like I said, near infrared is really special because it does two things at the same time. It does that light therapy stuff that we associate with red light, and it also heats the body radiantly from within. So we're literally using light to heat the body. And since we can use light to heat the body deeply and profoundly, we don't need the air to heat us up. So sauna space session, you don't preheat the sauna, and you get inside and immediately the light is heating you from within. You
Yeah.
get a really fast sweat response. In the
Yeah.
4 bulb system, it's like about 15 minutes to start sweating. In the 7 bulb system, it's probably 4 or 5 minutes, maybe
Yeah.
less. But the sauna session's done, pretty quickly. With a regular setup, it's 30 to 35 minutes. With the 7 bulb system that you use, the super sauna, the sauna session's only like 15 or 20 minutes. It's so fast.
Yeah.
So
And it
so
works.
the sauna space sauna experience is super fast. Where we get our sauna session done, we get 1 pound of water sweat out and a 3-degree core temperature increase in a fraction of the time it takes in a traditional
Mm.
sauna or a far infrared sauna.
Mm.
But the time that we're in there, we're bathing in this light of nature and this full spectrum firelight, and the experience because of that is really zen and really
Yeah.
relaxing and really conducive to like being mindful and being meditative and getting out of your thoughts and out of your mind and out of the stress of the day and back into your body and back into your being in your body in a way that makes the experience really joyful, really rejuvenative. You get out of the sauna space, it took a fraction of the time. You got light therapy checked, heat therapy checked, but the feeling when you get out is like, wow, I'm ready to take on the day. The
Yeah. Yeah. I
mental
know.
focus you get,
I
just the feeling in the body.
Yeah, totally, dude. I was gonna say that, it'll kick your ass in there. Like you'll feel like your heart rate goes up. You'll get that full blown sauna experience. At least I do.
Mm-hmm.
And then, but the interesting thing I was gonna say is you come out 30 minutes later, man, your energy just skyrockets. Like you feel so clear, so light, where, for instance, going to another sauna or a hot yoga class. I mean, you could be blown out for the rest of the day, but it really recharges you.
Yeah.
The wavelengths, the light waves and particles that you're experiencing in the sauna space from the firelight is totally rejuvenating your cells. It's recharging you, and you feel that big time. Um, One thing I thought of, and I don't know, maybe I don't know. The world is weird, so I'll leave everybody's opinions and thoughts about this. They're none of my business. But Would you say that, so then would it be, this is kind of a little bit tangential, but just understanding light and the sun and the benefits of it. And one thing you shared on the podcast that I thought was really interesting was we get a massive amount of nutrition from the sun, from sunlight. And that's why
Mm-hmm.
in the summer, those of us who are getting more sun outside a lot more, spending more time, our appetite's down because we're literally absorbing nutrients from the sunlight that we're getting in. But one thing I thought, because you guys, the spectrum of the bulbs is that FireLight spectrum, so it's the sunlight minus blue and UV, making it really gentle. Like it's a very gentle light at the same time as it has this really deep
Mm.
penetration. If you thought about going out in the sun, if you spent all day working out in the sun, you would feel a little bit beat up from that at the end of the day. Would that be, is that because you're getting that UV and that blue light in the
Yeah, yeah.
full sun spectrum, but like you don't feel beat up, and you've said that you've had people who are longtime customers like fell asleep with the light right next to their head and they were totally fine.
Yeah, I've done it
Like,
many times.
it's something you might feel
Yeah.
like, oh shit, is that going to burn me? But it's such a gentle light that it doesn't cause any irritation in that way.
Yeah, that's a good point to point out because it is the spectrum of the sun, without blue light and ultraviolet light. But how does that feel? It
Yeah,
definitely it feels more like the firelight or the bonfire. So if you can imagine yourself, laying a long time, even falling asleep next to the bonfire you had when you were camping, it's very gentle and soothing.
yeah, yeah.
The sun's, we do have an evolutionary, or we do have a designed adaptation to ultraviolet light where we produce vitamin D, and we
Mm,
also produce melanin, and so we tan.
mm,
um, but there's no question at the same time the ultraviolet light is causing damage to the DNA directly
mm,
because it's ionizing. But with the sun, we get that little bit of UV and that damage, and we get this huge, massive dose of near infrared that's antioxidative. It's producing melatonin. It's producing, it's anti-inflammatory. It's healing us at the same time. So yeah, ultimately though, from the sun, you get worn
yeah,
out from the ultraviolet and blue light. With the sauna space, the feeling is really gentle inside. So it's a powerful, stimulating, like rapid sweating, intense sauna experience, and yet there's a gentleness to it, that makes it really, really tolerable, especially when you compare it to regular traditional saunas. Traditional saunas have to use the air to heat up the body, so
mm, yeah,
traditional saunas, they're usually 180, they may be 200 degrees, and there's some of those traditional sauna companies that advertise that as a benefit, like the hotter the better,
right,
but it ends up being like really intolerable
yeah,
and too intense for a lot of people. And so with sauna space, you don't have that, but you get the results that you want, which is the sweat and the core temperature increase. It's those outcomes that matter, and you do it in a way that you're, especially people who are anxious or low energy, they can't take heat very much. They really usually have an amazing experience with sauna space that's in contrast to like the myth of the claustrophobic, like torture session of a regular sauna, which
yeah,
they're not all like that, but there's definitely that issue out there with it being so high heat. So with us, because the light heats the body from within, the air temperature is usually only like 100 to 130. So it's a lot more gentle. Yeah, so that's kind of like the sauna space experience. We also have really cool EMF shielding design and the grounding mat, and you have the Faraday liners. So there's this experience where we remove the man-made EMF from the experience that
yeah,
I think it adds to the overall ability to relax in there and ability to benefit from the therapy.
definitely, definitely settles the nervous system right down, man. Um, well, so the next thing we've got to talk about, which I think will lead us into a question here, that somebody asked about Dr. Mercola's recent comments about sauna. And sauna, a lot of benefits, a lot of healing benefits to sauna. Getting in heat, sweating, detoxifying your cells, detoxifying your entire system, circulatory, lymphatic, all of it. Undoubtedly, massively beneficial for you to get into heat, to create those heat shock proteins, to do all the amazing things that we love about sauna. So, what are some of those known benefits that you've been leading us towards here a little bit in the last couple minutes, but really, like, why do we want to get in the sauna? And then maybe that'll lead us into, sort of the the interesting pendulum of, researchers and experts constantly going back and forth on things that are ancient practices that we've been doing for thousands and thousands of years to heal ourselves and to balance out our nervous systems. But so I think first, why do we do it? Like, what's actually going on physiologically, biologically, chemically in our bodies? And then let's just take it from there.
Yeah, it's great. It's also important to get back to the basic. Why do we do this? So the easiest way to explain it is that regular sauna use increases your health span, and
Yes.
health span.
Documented. This is
Yeah, yeah.
documented.
This is well documented, and now almost pushing 30-year long-term studies on
Right.
thousands of humans doing sauna at various different frequencies per week. Health span is the years of your life that you're healthy. So when we say sauna extends your health span, regular sauna use, another way of saying that is sauna reduces all-cause mortality. So your risk of
Mm,
dying of all things non-trauma related. And
mm,
in that we kind of encapsulate everything. Like, it doesn't matter what health issue you got going on, uh, or how, or where you're at in your health journey. Sauna is going to buttress your health journey as a foundational practice. And what's going on the inside that leads to these like outstanding claims? It's it's two things. So we're purifying the body of poison,
mm,
and we're reoptimizing cellular function.
mm.
We're making things work good again. In the cells, there's a lot of little things going on there, but it all comes down really to this thing called the heat shock protein. The
Oh.
heat shock protein is produced, it's not normally there in the cell. You got to heat up the cell by 3 degrees for a number of minutes, and
Mm,
the cell begins to
mm,
produce, it gets like this signal, and it's like, whoa, we need to produce the heat shock proteins, and they start coming out and they help cell detox.
mm,
But they also go around and fix misfolded proteins. They're like little repairmen.
mm.
Proteins are like the line workers of the body, like the linebackers, on the NFL team.
Yeah.
They're doing all the grunt work and the hard work. They're not well recognized for it, but they're complicated little structures that if the foldings get misfolded, they don't work well. And really,
Mm,
actually, when you produce proteins in your cells, as soon as a protein is produced, because of de-evolution of the cell and aging, 20 to 30% of the proteins can come out of the gates already misfolded. So
mm.
you're already, a lot of us, our proteins are not starting in like the perfect state. So the heat shock proteins fix that. So
Interesting, dude.
so we got cell detox, we got body detox, and we've got cellular reoptimization by improving protein function. And when you do that in all
Mm.
the cells of the body, and there's these other effects of heat too. It's improved blood supply, improved oxygenation.
Yeah.
There's organ specific effects that that the heat does. It's liquefying the cells and making the mitochondria more efficient.
Mm,
But all that basically is hey, this is what we want to do. We want to keep our temple clean, and then we want to optimize the function of the temple. And the sauna does that holistically. And we also see, like nowadays, a modern one of the biggest challenges we have to our health nowadays is toxin exposure, heavy metals, plastics,
Yeah.
petrochemicals, chemicals of all kinds, nanoparticles, even like biological metals that are not in the right spot in the right way, and all of that. You can't perform well if you're full of poison, and even if you remove the poison, there's all this damage that needs to be repaired. So sauna is doing that, and if you look at the
Brian,
research, yeah,
I
what's up?
maybe you could speak to this, but I saw a video of the scientist talking the other day, and he was saying that in this day and age, because of environmental toxins and pollutants, it's no longer a luxury to be able to sauna. It's a necessity. Like you have to do it to
Yeah.
purify, to keep your body processing all the toxins and the poisons that we come into contact with. Have you seen that? Do you know who I'm
Yeah,
talking
yeah.
about?
I saw a quick clip out of that. Yeah, it's beautiful to see that. Of
It
course,
makes so much sense to me, dude. Just like it's so there's nothing I think there's nothing more important right now, like you're saying, to than to be able to detox yourself through sweat.
it is. And our ancestors understood this. Every human culture has a sauna tradition, but we do see nowadays with like modern research, what's going on that produces this effect, and also like what kind of disease categories are being ameliorated and helped with sauna. And it turns out really everything. It's not just like cardiovascular stuff. The long-term Finnish studies that I referred to about health span, we're looking at heart attack and
Mm,
heart disease and like cardiovascular health.
yeah.
But we're also seeing similar results in dementia, which is fascinating, because we have such an issue nowadays of heart attacks and dementia being such primary like health
Yeah.
complaints and problems. So regular sauna use also reduces your risk of dementia. So it's helping your
Someone
nervous system.
someone here, Brian asked, how many times a week should we sauna?
So the research indicates at least one time a week, and you're going to have a huge impact on your health
At
span.
least all you got to do is once a
One week,
week.
literally once
Wow.
a week. However, when we do it 3 times a week,
Mm,
we like basically double the impact on
interesting.
our health and on our longevity. So your reduction in all cause mortality goes down a huge notch 1 day a week, but 3 times a week it goes down an equivalent amount more. So ideally, it's 3 times a week. That's why I feel personally it's best to have it at home so it's easy and accessible. Although if you have a gym with a sauna and you can hit that 3 times a week, that's all good too. But
Yeah.
some people do it more. I do it usually 4 or 5 days a week. I don't do it every day. I take that break. And when I travel or when life happens, there may be a week or two where I don't do it, or maybe a month where I don't do it. Yeah, I know we're
Yeah.
kind of running out of time, and there's a lot of
Yeah.
myths. There's some myths I wanted to go to. So
Yeah,
maybe we could
please,
just
dude.
I wonder if maybe we just restart the live and hit the miss directly because I'd like to kind of chunk that out, and so we maybe can keep talking about a few more things that we're talking about, a couple more minutes, and then
Yeah.
we're gonna go ahead and restart the live, and we're gonna jump into some controversial
Round
comments and
two.
some myths and all that jazz.
Yeah, yeah. Sweet, dude. You got to give the people what they want. They want the fucking, they want the wellness world gossip, you know?
Yeah, yeah. So we're gonna restart and get to that. So that's in its own clip, but yeah, a few other questions. So. Uh, Ray asked, is eye protection required using the sauna space? We don't recommend any eye protection. Our users don't
It's
wear it.
good for the eyes.
It's good for the eyes in a dose dependent way. So we want to get
Okay.
light, we want to get light therapy like we get in nature. So that's why we're mimicking like the power level and stuff of the sun with in terms of red light and near infrared light. Practically, when you're in a sauna space, you're only facing the light a quarter of the time. You're rotating in there every few minutes. And when we get a measured dose of light to the eyes, we actually have a lot of benefit. You get melatonin production, you get improved nutrient delivery because water is
Mm,
delivering the nutrients to the photoreceptors. They don't have direct blood supply.
mm.
and there's like all these other ancillary things, but like we're designed to get near infrared light into our eyes every day for good eye health. There's actually also research in getting near infrared light exposure to the eyes in the morning, actually improving eyesight and preventing
Yeah.
worsening of eyesight. And I
Mm.
actually have I have some customers who, when they start using the sauna space, I can think of one in particular, one of our affiliates who says that when she uses the sauna space regularly, she doesn't need her reading glasses,
Mm.
but, but then she'll
Interesting, dude.
but then she'll go leave for a few weeks and travel and not be using her sauna space, and she'll have to, she'll need her reading glasses again, and then
Uh-huh.
she'll return and it'll like go away. It's so fascinating.
Interesting, dude. Interesting. Um, you're checking out the questions. Let me see.
Yeah. Also, let's see. This There was someone earlier that asked
A
about.
lot of good questions. It's hot. Community's hot with questions, dude.
Yeah, we're gonna answer that. We're gonna answer that sauna hotter question with the myths coming up here really soon. Well, let's just do that. Let's just jump in. There's too many of these things. So
Yeah.
we're just gonna wrap this up right now. We're gonna restart because they have that 1 hour time limit.
Instagram.
So anybody who wants to rejoin, you're welcome to just retype your questions. We're just gonna end now and we're gonna restart. So we have, a good 15, 20 minutes to hit all this myths and controversy and all this stuff everybody wants to hear us talk about. So I'm just going to end now. Eb, if you could just join back in,
I'm here.
appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. This is fun, dude. Great convo.
Yeah, we're gonna restart in 2 minutes. So it's 2:53. We're gonna restart at 2:55.
Sweet.
Okay, thanks, brother. Thanks to everybody for joining.
Thank you.